Hi guys, I'm Anissa and I'm back with another video, and today I'm here to do a book haul revisit video, which is something that I've seen on a lot of people's channels. They've been talking about the books that they'd received, like the first book haul, and then look into how many of them did they read, how many did they not read yet, and all of that. Now my booktube channel is only just over a year old, so it's not really that long ago, but still I think it's fun to go back and see what I got and if I've read any of the books and if I have to do something. I have been doing things to challenge myself to read more books from my TBR shelf with my unwrappings and stuff, so that I don't only focus on the books that I just received. So hopefully that will put a dent into this. But yeah, first off, I'm not gonna show you the video from that time because yeah, it was the first book haul. Of course, I was not really experienced yet in filming and stuff. I was speaking a little slowly, and a lot of unnecessary things, but I still do that sometimes, so I don't know if that's changed much. But let's get into the books that I purchased in June last year, so a little over a year ago, and what I've read from that list. Obviously, there's books that I can't show you that I have on my shelf because they're wrapped up in wrapping paper, so I'll leave the cover of it here. And others I can show you because I've read them, or I'm currently reading them, or something of the like, and I'll show you them. But the first book that I talked about in that video was The Complete Fairy Tales by Hans Christian Andersen, and no, I've not read that yet, and it's on my TBR shelf somewhere. I do know which one it is because there's only one book that's this size in this sort of wrapping paper, so I know which one it is. But I haven't gotten to that yet, obviously. The next book I got was Tyranny of Petticoats by Jessica Spotswood. This is a book that I have read since then, and I really enjoyed this collection. I gave it 4 stars. There's stories by a lot of authors that I've never read something from before, and so that made me definitely interested in reading more from them. And some of my favorite stories in here was by Y.S. Lee, Maria Lu, Marisa Meyer, Beth Revis, and Jessica Spotswood herself as well, and also Elizabeth Vine. So I've actually already either read something else from them since then, or I have gotten something other so that I can get to read something else from them because I was really interested in. That's what I like to do with anthologies, discover new authors and all of that. So the next one I got was The Help by Catherine Stockett. I actually don't have that on my shelf right now because I lent it out to my mother because I was like, I don't have a whole lot of books that are translated to Danish or written in Danish and stuff, and she seemed interested in it, and I don't think she's read it yet, but it said that she could take it with her and read it whenever she felt like it. I think she sort of forgot that she has it right now, but it is in my parents' place. So then I also got the first book in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Fellowship of the Ring, in a Danish black edition. I haven't read it yet because I want to read The Hobbit first, and it's on my shelf somewhere. So whenever I do pick The Lord of the Rings to read from the shelf, I will obviously read The Hobbit first so that I get that story in before I get started on The Lord of the Rings. The next book I got was Nowhere But Here by Katie McGarry. I have not read this one, and it's not part of my immediate TBR, but before I can get to this, I found out that I have to read the Pushing the Limit series because there are apparently some characters from that series that shows up in this series. So I don't feel like, since I want to read the Pushing the Limit series anyway, I wanted to read that first so I get the full value of this series. So that's why it hasn't been wrapped up, but it's been lying with the other books that are next in the series. Then I got A Little Wanting Song by Kath Crowley. I've read this one. I gave it 4 stars, I believe, or 3.5 stars. I actually really enjoyed it. It was about this girl who was writing music, but she was very much an introvert. She's never really been singing to other people, so no one really knew how she sounded except her grandfather. And this is set over Christmas, and it's set in Australia as well, so it's over their summer vacation. But I definitely enjoyed it. It follows 2 perspectives It follows both Charlie, who is the musician in this, and then there's Rose Butler, who is an sort of girls that this main character wants to be friends with, but she doesn't really want to be friends with her. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a fun, quick read over a readathon, and for that it worked really, really well. Then I got The Girl Who Chased the Moon by Sarah Addison Allen, and this was my second favorite read of last year. I absolutely adore this book. It's so magical and whimsical, and still very much a contemporary story. It follows two perspectives again. Emily, who is a 16-year-old girl, and Juliet, who is like, I think, close to her 30s. And Emily moves to this small town after her mother's passed, and her only living relative that's still alive is her grandfather, who she didn't know about because her mother kept all of her life a secret from her, so she doesn't really know anything about them. And then Juliet is the owner of this restaurant. After her father passed away, she took over, and even though she's not really the biggest cook, she does a lot of bakery stuff, so that's what she focuses on in this story. And then she has someone else taking over the cooking, the menu planning, and all of that. The next one I got was The Novice Spy Tara Matharu. This is on my immediate TBR. It's going to be part of my reading quest reading, hopefully, and so I'll get to it very soon. I'm very excited to get to this. I'm surprised I haven't picked it up sooner, but sometimes, you know, I get excited about some other books and read those instead, and that's usually what happens. Then I got Don't Tell the Groom by Anna Bell. This is a sort of chick lit book, even though I think that the cover looks like Victorian London or something. But I read the blurb of it, and it sounds like a chick lit book with a girl who has some problems with betting and sort of playing games for money. And she sort of spent all of her money that was supposed to go for her wedding to that. So she's trying to avert getting like the prestigious wedding that she wanted. At least that's the gist I got from that. Then I got Vicious by V.E. Schwab, which I read, and I did enjoy this one. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. So definitely an enjoyable read, and very fast-paced read as well. This is about villains. Both villains, they have extraordinary powers. And even though it seems like one of them might be good, I don't particularly think any of them were good, and I think that was interesting. But they had different purposes they wanted to use their extraordinary powers for. So that was definitely an interesting take of this. And the last 2 books I got was Murder of Crows and Vision in Silver by Anne Bishop. I read Murder of Crows and I loved it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Not exactly as high on my rating as the first one, written in red, but I still really loved it a lot. And Vision in Silver, I have just started it. I'm only on page 11, but I hope to get some more read of this tonight because I absolutely adore these characters in this world, and I immediately got that feeling again when I started reading this that I was going to be immersed in the story. But I have still yet to finish Marauder because my reading has been very sporadic over the weekend because it turned out to be a lot more busy than I anticipated in the first place, but I have been enjoying myself over the weekend, but I haven't been reading a whole lot. So out of 12 books that I got for this book haul, I read 5 of them. Still not super great, but I am in the process of getting to Vision in Silver and The Novice really, really soon. And then we'll see when I eventually get to the other. I think this type of video is extremely cool, and I hope to do another one soon where I focus on the next second book haul that I did, just to see if it gets better or worse with my reading compared to how many books I got. So that's going to be interesting. I know that there's some months that I get insanely many books, and I know I've read not nearly any of them, but yeah. So yeah, definitely let me know in the comments down below if you like these sort of videos, and if you want to see more of them. And this is all I had for you today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye!